Hello, I'm Kira, and in the name of the moon, I actually won't punish anyone, because I'm not a magical girl. But hey, what a coincidence. This is actually a magical girl collab, an original magical girl collab to be more specific. The Magical Senshis team, Enchanterium, Hexian, Moonlight Jewel, Mr. Super Customs, The Dolly Geek, and me are ready to fight evil. For this collaboration, we were challenged to create an original magical girl. If you've been here before, you know that I love Sailor Moon. But I also love Cardcaptor Sakura so much, so I was very excited about this theme. For my magical girl, I decided to go for an average character that gets chosen by an angelic being to be the protector of heaven, but more on her story later. Let's begin with the face-up. Now, I won't say that this is out of my comfort zone, because I don't believe that I'm comfortable doing the faces I do. That's just my style. My dolls have my essence, but that doesn't mean that I always do the same face over and over. But for this doll, I really want her to be different. I really want to channel an actual anime face. I'm just dusting some pink pastel ever so slightly. When an anime character blushes, they tend to have a very graphic blush, so I'm adding an oval blush on the apples of the cheeks. It's also very rare to see anime girls with bushy brows, but for her I wanted to make them thinner than my usual style. Since I decided to keep the original doll hair, I'm making the brows pink. Off camera, I'll define everything with color pencils. Next step. I usually give my dolls false lashes, but for her I'm going for a very sharp and graphic liner. So that's what I'm doing, using a black pencil to define the shape of the eye. Once done, I'll color the edge of the iris with a plum color pencil. And also fill the top part. Continue the gradient in the middle with a magenta. And pink at the bottom, blending everything very well. I'll fill the scleras off camera with white. With black, I'll draw the pupils. And to highlight the iris, I'll use a metallic pink acrylic. To finish everything, I'll add grey and black pastel on top to create a shadow. And since I need to be very precise with the anime catch lights, I'll paint them off camera. Now time for the outfit. I made these very pointy patterns for the top and also basic bikini ones. I cut everything on pink faux leather. I'll begin by sewing the bikini by hand from the sides. This fabric is very stretchy, so I don't have to worry to add snaps. These are the other two parts, and I already sewed them on one side. And proceed to glue on some rhinestones. So my anime series would have the same name as the protagonist, groundbreaking. Her name, Celestica, an average student that gets chosen by an angel to protect the gates of heaven from demons. Lots of demonic portals keep opening without explanation on Earth, so Celestica needs to track them, fight the demons, and seal those portals. Her powers are granted by the Drop of Faith, a crystal that fell from the galaxy that holds the power to maintain the balance between good and evil. Once all the rhinestones are on, I'll use some plastic thread, get it through a crystal bead, secure it, add a ring, make a hole on the edge of the bodysuit, and add the ring. Close it with pliers. I'll do this on the remaining ends. Since I want the outfit to be skin tight, I'll sew it directly on the body. For the outfit I wanted something to be very edgy. Magical girls usually are dressed with a very puffy skirt and sleeves, and I don't dislike that, but I'm not a fan of that Lolita kind of fashion. So to give the bodysuit a dramatic silhouette, I cut these pieces that I'll sew on both sides. I wanted to give my character a visor, so I made this pattern and cut it out of this iridescent PVC plastic. I made a cut on top and fold it to get an angular shape. I'll secure it with superglue. Off camera, I sewed this top piece to the bodysuit that I made with ribbon and a piece of white fabric. And all that's left is glue on feathers, until I cover up the complete top. Continue with Celestica's story. Oh yes, there's more. She was chosen by an angel because of her pure heart. But unlike other magical girls, she's not a princess or the most powerful human being on the planet. She just happens to have goodwill. And that's why she can use the Scepter of Faith. Demonic portals keep opening at high speed, so Celestica needs to ask the Grand Archangel for help. So they grant her a ruby that helps to track the portals faster. But why a red ruby? Are the Archangel's intentions good? And well, as you can see, this process of gluing on feathers was extremely tedious. I wanted everything to be very symmetrical because, well, I'm obsessive, and it makes me happy. To continue with the visor, I cut a circular piece of foam and glue more feathers to create these tiny wings. Then glue a smaller circle on top to cover everything. And later paint the foam with golden acrylic paint. Off camera, I'll secure the visor on the head with pins. And this is how it looks. The good part of painting it down is that it actually moves and reveals the face. But it was looking kinda lame, and I'm a rhinestone addict, so I'll glue a lot of them. The visor is made with angelic technology and grants the user the ability to scan their surroundings. It also protects your face if someone wants to punch you. Visor done. And I also made a pair of thigh-high stockings, and these boots that once belonged to Abby Abominable. I want to give her a halo, so I took regular toothpicks and insert one on the bun. And later mark the length. On my silicone mat, I traced a small circle and mark the center. Take my toothpick, match my mark on the line of the circle, and mark it again where I want the wire to rest. Make a big circle using the last mark as reference. And begin marking all the toothpicks using both circles. Use the marked toothpicks to make symmetrical the ones on the left side. Bend a piece of wire to match the big circle. With a folded signed paper, sand down the first marking. By making this, the wire will be secured. I measured equal separations on the big circle, and later traced those measurements on the wire. Cut the toothpicks to the desired length, and superglue them on place on the wire. And this is how it looks. Sadly, the halo was too wide, and it gets in the way of the wings. And even though this is not that noticeable, this can ruin the feathers at some point. So I decided to make it smaller. This doesn't look like a halo anymore, but it will be cute once it's painted. Cardcaptor Sakura has my favorite magical weapons from all time. I really love all the stuff she gets through the anime, but my favorite will always be the Star Key. There's something about those wings that makes me so happy. especially when she conjures the cards. And there is one specific part that you can only watch at the movie, where you can see the wings make this little flap. Oh my god, iconic. So the Scepter of Fate will definitely have wings. But first, hands. I love hands. I love holding hands. I've got a thing with hands. So I took these from an Ever After Idol, and I'll mark the length and cut them with my Dremel. Later, I'll carve the inside. Once done, I'll add some super glue and glue them to a Bambi skewer. I'll place it on paper, and I'll draw the shape of the wing. This part that I'm drawing darker is very important, because this is what forms the armature. So with wire, I'll make the armature. This obviously times 2. Once done, I'll cover them up with white stretchy fabric. And later, with hot glue, I'll add the feathers, one by one. The key to make good looking wings is to play with the length of the feathers. Birds have feathers from different sizes. The longer ones go on the tip and begin to get shorter once they reach the inside. For this project, since I knew I was going to use a lot of feathers, I cut 3 different sizes. Long process, but totally worth it. Once I'm done, I just have to repeat this 3 more times. I painted the hands black and gave the stick 1 coat of gesso. I also drilled 4 holes underneath the hands, so that I can attach the wings later. For the scepter, I'll first paint it hot pink. Off camera, I painted the hands golden. And later, 1 coat of my pearlescent paint. You should know by now that this is my favorite top coater, even though it's not a top coat. Once dry, I'll insert the wire on the top and loop it on the bottom. The same with the other wing. I don't want them to look this stiff, so I'm bending them a little bit to add more movement. Just look at that. And since the exposed wires look disgusting, I'm covering them up with more feathers. Also, this will create a better transition to the wings. Later, I added some grading rhinestones, because it was looking kinda empty. For the bottom, I took a crystal bead similar to the ones of the bodysuit, but larger, and with a pin and superglue inserted on a hole I made with my hand drill. Off camera, I painted some golden accents. And to finish everything, glue on the drop of faith on the hands. And with this, the Scepter of Fate and Celestica are done. I'm extremely happy with how this girl turned out. She's exactly how I envisioned her in my mind. And you can tell that judging by her backstory I created, I had this all very well planned. What do you think about Celestica? How does her story end? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for joining me on this magical journey, and don't forget to meet the rest of the warriors. The links to all the channels are listed on the description box. And of course, special thanks to my friend Hugo from the Dolly Geek for recruiting this group. This was such a cool collab theme. And well, that's up for today, but as always, don't forget to support the workshop by liking this video. Remember that sharing is caring, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next time. Kiro out!